Welcome. Tonight, we invite you into a peaceful corner of the universe. In a universe vast and unfathomable, where stars shimmered like diamonds against an endless canvas of darkness, a disturbance rippled through the fabric of reality. On the planet Earth, nestled in a secluded valley, Bruce Banner sought solitude, hoping to escape the turmoil that defined his existence. Despite the peace around him, a sense of impending dread gnawed at the edges of his mind. Bruce had chosen this remote area to avoid the chaos that accompanied his alter ego, the Hulk. He had been living in a fragile state of balance, but the tranquility of the valley could not silence the whispers of his instincts. The earth beneath him trembled slightly, a subtle tremor that sent a shiver down his spine. It was the first indication that something was amiss, something cosmic. As he wandered through the lush greenery, contemplating the simplicity of nature, he sensed the subtle shift in energy. The trees rustled uneasily, and the birds that usually filled the air with their songs fell silent. Bruce paused, squinting at the sky, where dark clouds began to swirl and converge, unlike any storm he had ever seen. The air grew heavy, thick with a tension that felt both foreign and familiar. In that moment, a powerful entity, the Watcher, materialized before him. This ancient cosmic being was known for observing the universe without interference, his eyes set upon the balance of existence. The Watcher's presence was commanding, his voice a low rumble echoing the weight of countless ages. He gazed at Bruce with an intensity that held both sorrow and urgency. "Bruce Banner," the Watcher intoned, "a great darkness is rising. Forces beyond your comprehension are gathering. You must heed the warning of the cosmos, for the Hulk may be the galaxy's last hope." Bruce's heart raced. He had faced monsters and tyrants on Earth, but the concept of cosmic forces was beyond his experience. Yet, deep down, he felt the stirrings of the Hulk, the primal rage waiting to be unleashed. The Watcher continued, painting a picture of a universe threatened by annihilation. Planets were disappearing, energy surges rippling through space, and at the heart of it all was a nihilus, the ruler of the negative zone, plotting to harness a cosmic power that would tip the balance toward chaos. As the Watcher spoke, visions flooded Bruce's mind. Ships hurtling through space, heroes gathering, and shadows of great evil looming on the horizon. Each image carried a weight of inevitability, urging him to take action. But Bruce was caught in his internal struggle, the fear of what the Hulk could unleash if provoked clashing with the urgent need to respond to the impending threat. "Why me?" Bruce questioned, his voice tinged with desperation. "Why not send someone else?" The Watcher's gaze softened slightly, understanding the burdens Bruce carried. The Hulk is not merely a weapon of destruction. He is a force of nature, a protector. Only he can confront the darkness that seeks to consume the universe. You must embrace your duality, for it is the key to your strength. In that moment, Bruce felt a shift within himself. He recalled the countless times he had fought not just for survival, but for the greater good. Memories of battles fought alongside heroes, the sacrifices made, and the bonds formed reminded him that perhaps the Hulk was not just a monster, but a guardian as well. The dark clouds above began to swirl faster, lightning crackling through the sky, echoing the storm within Bruce's heart. He closed his eyes, drawing on the strength of both Bruce Banner and the Hulk, understanding that he could no longer hide from his destiny. The time had come to stand against the encroaching darkness. As the storm intensified, the Watcher's form shimmered, beginning to fade. "Prepare yourself, Bruce. Allies will come, and your true test lies ahead. Trust in the Hulk. He is your ally, not your enemy." With that, the Watcher vanished, leaving Bruce alone with his thoughts. The storm roared around him, but within him, a spark of resolve ignited. Bruce stood tall, determination coursing through his veins. He felt the pulse of the universe, an urgent call to action resonating within him. He knew he could no longer remain a passive observer in his own life. As the first drops of rain began to fall, mingling with the vibrations of energy in the air, Bruce Banner prepared to face the challenges ahead. He would not let fear define him any longer. The gathering storm was not just a harbinger of chaos. It was a signal that the time for heroes had arrived. And as he transformed into the Hulk, the embodiment of raw power and fury, the ground trembled beneath his feet, shaking with the force of his resolve. The galaxy needed a savior, and whether he liked it or not, Bruce Banner was ready to answer the call. The Hulk would rise to meet the storm, ready to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. As the echoes of the storm faded and the last remnants of the Watcher's warning lingered in Bruce Banner's mind, the world outside shifted into chaos. The cosmic disturbances intensified, sending ripples through the fabric of reality. Across the galaxy, beings of immense power sensed the growing threat, each one compelled to act as a great darkness loomed on the horizon. On the shimmering planet of Xander, home to the Nova Core, the Nova Prime Irani Rail monitored the escalating energy readings from the cosmic anomalies. The readings were unprecedented, and an urgent alert was issued throughout the core. In the vast control room, a holographic map displayed the locations of the disturbances, each pulse of energy like a beacon of danger. Irani, with her sharp gaze and unwavering resolve, called for a gathering of the core. They had faced threats before, but this felt different, more sinister. Meanwhile, on Asgard, a similar sense of urgency permeated the halls of the Grand Palace. Thor, the god of thunder, stood before Odin, his father, who gazed into the depths of the cosmos. The All-Father had sensed the rising darkness, his wisdom steeped in the ancient prophecies of old. Thor, wielding Mjolnir with a fierce grip, felt the call to protect not just his realm, but the entire universe. Odin, Thor spoke, his voice firm and clear. I must gather the heroes. We cannot face this darkness alone. Odin nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. The Hulk shall be among them, for he is a force of nature. Seek him out, Thor, and bring him into the fold. As Thor prepared for his journey, the scene shifted to the cosmos, where a lone figure glided through the stars. Carol Danvers, known as Captain Marvel, soared through the void aboard her advanced starship, the Avenger. She had felt the disturbances from light years away, the instinctual pull of a cosmic protector. Her senses were heightened, and the air crackled with energy as she charted a course for the source of the anomalies. Arriving at the epicenter, she witnessed a chaotic spectacle, a vibrant array of colors clashing, forming a whirlwind of cosmic energy. Sensing the danger, Carol activated her ship's communication system, reaching out to the Avengers, the Guardians of Earth. This is Captain Marvel. We have a major cosmic disturbance on the rise. I need backup. I believe this may be connected to Annihilus. Back on Earth, Bruce Banner felt the pulse of energy resonating with his own. After his encounter with the Watcher, he had been contemplating the call to action. Though he had chosen a life of seclusion, a part of him yearned to protect the innocent. The transformation into the Hulk felt more like a duty now, a responsibility to wield his strength for good. As he contemplated his next move, the ground beneath him quaked slightly, and the air shimmered with energy. A portal opened, casting a bright glow that illuminated the valley. From the portal emerged Thor, his presence radiant and commanding, clad in his Asgardian armor and wielding Mjolnir. Banner! Thor called out, his voice echoing through the trees. The galaxy needs you. Annihilus and his forces are rising, and we must unite our strength to face this threat. Bruce hesitated, torn between his desire for peace and the call of duty. But the weight of Thor's words settled on him like a mantle. He could not ignore the suffering that lay ahead if he turned away. Slowly, he nodded, the green aura of the Hulk beginning to flicker to life. "Let's go," Bruce said, his voice steady. The transformation was swift, the Hulk surging forth, powerful and ready. The two allies stepped through the portal, emerging into the heart of the galactic conflict. Together, they arrived on Xander, where Irani Rail awaited with the Nova Corps assembled around her. The air crackled with anticipation as heroes gathered, each one representing the hope of countless worlds. Thor introduced Bruce to Irani, whose eyes widened slightly in recognition of the green behemoth's legendary strength. "Your reputation precedes you, Hulk," she said, her voice steady. "Together, we can rally our forces against Annihilus and the darkness he brings. But we must move quickly. He has allies who are formidable." As they strategized, Captain Marvel arrived, landing gracefully in front of the gathered heroes. "I've been tracking Annihilus's movements," she stated, her voice unwavering. "He's gathering an army in the negative zone, preparing to unleash it on the universe. We need to strike first." The heroes rallied around Captain Marvel's plan. With the strength of the Hulk, the bravery of Thor, the tactical prowess of Nova, and the indomitable spirit of Captain Marvel, they would form an alliance like no other. Together, they would forge a path into the heart of darkness. The team discussed their next steps, and the urgency in their voices ignited a fire within Bruce. He had fought against odds before, but this time felt different. The stakes were higher, and the potential for destruction more profound. As they prepared for battle, Thor raised Mjolnir high, his voice booming. "We stand united against the forces of chaos. We will not falter. We will not yield. The Hulk, the Nova Corps, Captain Marvel, and Asgard shall rise together." The call to arms resonated throughout the gathered forces, echoing across Xander and beyond. One by one, heroes and soldiers stepped forward, pledging their strength to the cause. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a sense of purpose and resolve. In the distance, the stars began to dim, shadows creeping into the corners of the galaxy. The gathering storm was not just a metaphor, it was a signal of the coming battle. As the heroes readied themselves, each one felt the weight of their responsibility, knowing they were standing on the precipice of a war that would determine the fate of the universe. With hearts united, they set forth into the cosmos, the echoes of their rallying cry resounding across the stars. The call to arms had been answered, and the heroes prepared to face the darkness together. As the heroes soared through the cosmos aboard the Nova Corps flagship, the Nova Star, anticipation hung heavy in the air. The ship glided effortlessly, propelled by advanced technology and the unified determination of its crew. Bruce Banner, still in his Hulk form, stood at the prow, his gaze fixed on the vastness of space before them. Each star seemed to pulse with the energy of countless worlds, and yet a shadow loomed, an omen of the chaos that awaited. Captain Marvel, her blonde hair billowing in the artificial wind, stood beside Bruce, her arms crossed and her expression serious. "We're approaching the coordinates of the last known sighting of Annihilus's forces," she said, her voice calm yet filled with urgency. "Intelligence indicates he's rallying an army in the negative zone, preparing to breach our reality." Thor leaned against the ship's console, his presence commanding and unwavering. "We must be vigilant. Annihilus is not merely a tyrant. He is a cunning strategist who thrives on chaos. We must strike before he fully assembles his forces." Irani Rail, Nova Prime, monitored the ship's instruments, her sharp eyes scanning the data. Sensors are picking up multiple energy signatures ahead, she announced, her voice steady. They appear to be ships, but they are cloaked. We'll need to be prepared for an ambush. The ship descended into the dark recesses of space, and as they neared the coordinates, the energy readings spiked. Captain Marvel took the lead, activating the ship's stealth systems. They entered the vicinity silently, a dark shadow amongst the stars. The heroes exchanged knowing glances, each feeling the weight of the moment, aware that they were stepping into a lion's den. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship, slicing through the tense silence. "We've been detected," Irani shouted, her fingers flying over the controls. The crew braced for impact as enemy ships, sleek and menacing, emerged from their cloaked states. Dark, angular vessels emblazoned with the insignia of a nihilist surged forward, surrounding the Nova Star. "Prepare for battle," Captain Marvel commanded, her voice ringing out with authority. The air crackled with energy as the heroes readied themselves, each one drawing upon their unique powers. The first wave of Annihilus's ships unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, illuminating the darkness of space with brilliant bursts of light. The Nova Star rocked violently as projectiles slammed against its shields, and Irani worked furiously to maintain control. "Shields holding, but we need to engage." With a fierce roar, the Hulk stepped forward, muscles rippling with power. "Hulk smash!" he bellowed, unleashing his fury upon the enemy. With incredible strength, he leaped from the ship, hurtling toward the nearest enemy vessel like a green missile. The sheer force of his impact sent shockwaves rippling through space, creating a dazzling explosion of debris. Thor followed close behind, calling upon the might of the storm. "By the power of Asgard," he shouted, hurling Mjolnir into the fray. The enchanted hammer soared through the air, striking down enemy ships with thunderous precision. Each impact echoed like the roar of a tempest, illuminating the battlefield with flashes of light. Captain Marvel soared into the fray, her energy flaring as she zipped between enemy ships. Her fists glowed with cosmic energy, and with each strike, she shattered hulls and sent adversaries spiraling into oblivion. "Keep pushing forward," she urged, her voice fierce amidst the chaos. Irani commanded the Nova Star with deft precision, coordinating maneuvers while fending off attacks. "We need to disable their command ship," she shouted, eyes focused on a larger vessel lurking in the back. "If we take that down, the rest will scatter." As the battle raged on, Hulk plowed through enemy forces, smashing ships and sending them crashing into one another. His laughter filled the void, a primal sound echoing against the backdrop of destruction. He relished the chaos, a stark contrast to the deep-rooted fears that usually plagued Bruce Banner. In this moment, he was unstoppable, a force of nature unleashed. Suddenly, a massive blast of energy struck the Nova Star, causing it to shudder violently. Irani struggled to keep the ship steady, sweat beading on her forehead as alarms blared. "We're losing power. We can't take much more of this. Everyone, focus fire on that command ship," Captain Marvel ordered, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to draw their fire away from the flagship." With determination igniting within them, the heroes rallied, coordinating their attacks. Thor summoned lightning from the heavens, directing it toward the command ship, while Captain Marvel unleashed a concentrated blast of energy. Hulk, undeterred, charged at the ship, his immense fists ready to deal a crushing blow. As they pressed their attack, the enemy began to falter, but Annihilus had more forces at his disposal. A second wave of reinforcements poured into the fray, an armada of monstrous creatures and warships that had been lurking in the shadows. Among them was the Wrecking Crew, a group of powerful foes, each imbued with dark energies by Annihilus. "Stand your ground," Irani shouted as the enemies closed in. The wrecking crew leaped into the battle, their hulking forms a terrifying sight. Wrecker, the leader, swung his enchanted crowbar with reckless abandon, aiming to crush anything in his path. Thor clashed with the wrecking crew, Mjolnir dancing through the air as he deflected blows and countered with precision. "You will not prevail against the might of Asgard," he proclaimed, sending Wrecker staggering backward with a powerful strike. Hulk turned his attention to another member, Piledriver, who charged at him with brute force. The two titans collided in a cacophony of sound, the ground beneath them trembling with the impact. Hulk's rage was palpable, a primal force that surged through him as he retaliated, throwing Piledriver off balance and delivering a devastating uppercut that sent him crashing into a nearby ship. In the midst of the melee, Captain Marvel engaged with Bulldozer, who charged with his heavy armor, intent on bulldozing through anything in his path. She zipped around him, landing quick strikes while dodging his powerful swings. "You're going to have to do better than that," she taunted, energy crackling at her fingertips. As the heroes fought valiantly, Irani found a moment to recalibrate the ship's weapon systems. "I'll give you cover fire," she shouted, and with a flick of a switch, she activated the ship's forward cannon. Brilliant beams of energy erupted from the Nova Star, tearing through the ranks of the enemy and forcing them to regroup. The tide of battle surged and ebbed, chaos reigning supreme. The air was thick with the scent of ionized energy and the echoes of battle cries. Each hero fought with unwavering resolve, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. In a moment of desperation, Annihilus himself appeared on the battlefield, a towering figure wreathed in darkness and malice. His voice boomed across the chaos, a chilling declaration of his intent. "You are fools to challenge me. I will conquer all of existence, and your efforts will be for naught." With his presence, a wave of fear washed over the heroes, but they stood firm, determination igniting in their hearts. Bruce, in his Hulk form, looked up at the looming figure, feeling the weight of the challenge before him. "Hulk not afraid," he bellowed, charging at Annihilus with relentless fury. As the battle reached a fever pitch, the heroes pressed on, each one understanding the stakes. They were not just fighting for their lives, but for the very future of the galaxy. Together, they formed a bulwark against the dark tide, their spirits intertwined in a common purpose. The clash against Annihilus's forces was far from over, but in that moment, the heroes understood that they were more than just individuals. They were a united front against chaos, and they would fight until their last breath to protect the universe they cherished. As the battle raged in the depths of space, the heroes fought valiantly against the formidable forces of Annihilus. Energy beams illuminated the void, and the cries of warriors echoed in the cacophony of chaos. However, amidst the heroism and courage lay a brewing discord that would threaten to unravel their fragile alliance. The relentless tide of enemy ships and monstrous creatures pressed upon the heroes, pushing them to their limits. Hulk charged forward, smashing through enemy lines, while Captain Marvel darted through the chaos, delivering powerful strikes to the foes that surrounded her. Thor wielded Mjolnir with godly strength, creating storms of lightning that cascaded down upon Annihilus's forces. Yet as they fought, the tension among the ranks of their coalition began to surface. Irani Rael, Nova Prime, felt the pressure mounting as she coordinated their strategies from the Nova Star. She noticed that some of the Nova Corps members were exchanging furtive glances, their expressions betraying an uncertainty that made her uneasy. "Stay focused, everyone," Irani shouted over the din of battle, her voice firm and commanding. "We cannot afford to let fear take hold. Our unity is our greatest weapon. But in the shadows of the chaos, a member of the Nova Corps, a young recruit named Sam, was grappling with doubts. He had always idolized the heroes around him, but the overwhelming power of Annihilus and his forces had begun to chip away at his resolve. Fearing for his own life and the lives of those he cared about, Sam found himself questioning the strength of their alliance. As the fight wore on, Sam's inner turmoil grew. He watched as Thor and Captain Marvel worked seamlessly together, their powerful attacks complementing one another. In stark contrast, he felt isolated and unprepared. The idea that they could actually fail gnawed at him, whispering dark thoughts that began to erode his loyalty. In a moment of vulnerability, he stumbled across a group of Annihilus' scouts who had infiltrated their ranks. They wore cloaks that blended with the chaos, their faces hidden beneath hoods. They spoke in hushed tones, and Sam couldn't help but eavesdrop. Curiosity piqued. Once we sow enough discord, the heroes will turn on each other. One of the scouts whispered, a sinister smile hidden in the shadows of his hood. Annihilus will strike when they are at their weakest. It's only a matter of time. Sam's heart raced. He realized that Annihilus' forces were not just attacking with brute strength. They were manipulating fear and distrust. The heroics he had witnessed were under threat from within, and the seeds of betrayal were being planted right in front of him. Feeling a sudden surge of desperation, Sam approached the group, his voice shaky. "What do you want from us? We're fighting for our lives." The scouts turned to him, their eyes glinting with malice. "You're in over your head, boy. Join us, and we can offer you power, strength to save yourself." Sam hesitated, their words tempting in their promise of safety. But deep within him, the values he had learned from the heroes he admired flickered. The idea of betraying his comrades felt like a betrayal of himself. Yet the fear of annihilation loomed larger, and he felt pulled in two directions. Meanwhile, the battle intensified as Annihilus unleashed a new wave of monstrous creatures onto the battlefield. The Hulk was embroiled in a fierce brawl, clashing with the wrecking crew and the relentless tide of Annihilus' minions. In the chaos, he caught sight of Sam conversing with the scouts and felt a flicker of concern. "Sam, what are you doing?" Hulk roared, his voice booming across the battlefield. "Get back to the fight." But Sam was caught in a moment of weakness, indecision clouding his judgment. The scouts pressed their advantage, whispering promises of strength and safety. "You don't have to fight alone," one of them urged, their voice silky and persuasive. Sam took a deep breath, trying to shake off the darkness creeping into his mind. He turned back to his comrades, seeking the strength of their unity. "We're stronger together," he shouted, forcing his voice to rise above the chaos. "We can't let fear drive us apart." Just as he spoke, a powerful blast from Annihilus' forces hit nearby, sending debris flying through the air. Sam barely managed to dodge it, but the impact jolted him back to reality. The scouts, realizing their opportunity was slipping away, revealed their true intentions. They lunged at Sam, attempting to pull him into their ranks. "Fool, you can't escape the truth," they hissed, their voices dripping with venom. In that moment, the chaos exploded. Captain Marvel, seeing the confrontation unfold, soared toward Sam, her energy blazing. "Get away from him!" she shouted, blasting the scouts with a surge of energy. The force of her attack sent them sprawling back, their hoods falling away to reveal faces twisted with rage. The conflict escalated as the scouts retaliated, using their cloaked abilities to blend into the shadows and launch surprise attacks against the heroes. Distrust spread like wildfire among the ranks, and the heroes began to suspect that not all were on their side. Irani Rail felt the tide turning as the enemy used the chaos to their advantage. "We have to regroup," she yelled, fighting back against the encroaching foes. "We can't let them fracture our unity." But the damage had been done. Confusion and doubt took root, making it difficult for the heroes to trust one another. Each blast of energy, each roar of the Hulk, became laced with uncertainty. In the midst of the conflict, Captain Marvel and Thor found themselves inadvertently targeting each other in the chaos, creating small rifts in their defense. "We need to be better coordinated," Thor shouted, his eyes scanning for the source of the newfound confusion. "What is happening?" Hulk's rage began to swell as he sensed the disarray. "Hulk smash anyone who betrays!" he bellowed, unleashing his fury on the nearest enemy. But it was clear that the heroes were starting to fracture under the strain. In a bold attempt to restore unity, Irani Rail called for a tactical retreat, rallying her Nova Corps members. "Fall back to the Nova Star. We need to regroup and reassess our strategy." As the heroes began to retreat, Sam felt a pang of guilt. He had nearly succumbed to betrayal and witnessed firsthand how easily doubt could spread. Determined to atone for his moment of weakness, he sprinted to rejoin his comrades, pushing past the chaos of battle. "I'm with you," he shouted, joining the Nova Corps and helping to lead them back to the ship. But as they regrouped, Annihilus seized the opportunity, launching a focused attack on the Nova Star. A barrage of energy blasts rained down, striking the ship's shields and causing them to flicker dangerously. "Brace for impact," Irani commanded, her fingers flying over the controls as she attempted to stabilize the ship. The crew scrambled, fighting against the onslaught, while the heroes prepared for a final stand. As they boarded the ship, Captain Marvel took a moment to look around, noting the tension that lingered among them. "We need to trust one another if we're going to win this fight. This is a battle for our lives and the lives of everyone we care about," she said, her voice firm. With a nod from each hero, the resolve began to solidify. They understood that the enemy was not just the physical threat of Annihilus and his forces. It was the fear and distrust that could dismantle their alliance from within. The Nova Star soared away from the chaos, engines roaring as they sought refuge in the dark recesses of space. As the stars whizzed by, the heroes gathered in the ship's command center, their faces lit by the glow of holographic displays. "Annihilus may think he has the upper hand," Irani said, her voice steady, "but we cannot let his manipulation succeed. We will counteract this betrayal. We must act as one, stronger than ever." Together, they forged a plan, determined to expose the treachery that had seeped into their ranks and confront Annihilus head-on. In that moment of unity, they reaffirmed their commitment to one another, understanding that despite their struggles, they would rise together to face the darkness threatening their universe. The Nova Star glided silently through the dark void of space, the tension among its crew palpable. After the harrowing battle against Annihilus's forces and the ensuing betrayal, the heroes gathered in the command center, each member wrestling with their thoughts. Irani Rail, Nova Prime, stood at the helm, analyzing the data scrolling across the screens. "According to our intel," she began, her voice steady despite the chaos they had faced, "Annihilus is seeking the Cosmic Forge, an ancient artifact that possesses the power to alter reality itself. If he obtains it, he could reshape the universe to his will, ensuring his dominance over all." Captain Marvel, her brow furrowed in concentration, leaned forward. "Where is it located? We need to find it before he does." Irani gestured toward a holographic display that flickered to life, revealing a star map. "The forge is said to be hidden on a desolate planet called Forge World, located in a remote sector of the galaxy. Legends speak of its guardian, a being known as the Celestial Smith, who forged the very stars themselves." "Then we must make haste," Thor said, gripping Mjolnir tightly. Annihilus cannot be allowed to claim such power. As they charted a course for Forge World, tensions still simmered beneath the surface. Sam, the young Nova Corps recruit who had nearly succumbed to doubt, felt a weight on his shoulders. He had witnessed how easily mistrust could seep into their ranks, and he was determined to prove his loyalty to his comrades. After a tense journey, the Nova Star emerged from the cosmic shadows into the orbit of Forge World. The planet was a swirling mass of molten lava and jagged mountains, with a thick atmosphere that shimmered with energy. Irani's eyes narrowed as she scanned the readings. Energy signatures are off the charts. We must proceed with caution. The crew prepared to land, and as the ship descended through the tumultuous atmosphere, they were met with violent storms that battered against the hull. Lightning crackled and rumbled, mirroring the brewing storm within the hearts of the heroes. The ship finally touched down on a rocky outcrop, and they disembarked, stepping onto the fiery terrain. As they stood on Forge World, the air hummed with raw power. Towering structures made of molten rock and crystal loomed around them, glowing with an otherworldly light. The landscape was a mix of danger and beauty, and they could feel the pulse of the cosmic forge deep within the heart of the planet. "We need to locate the Celestial Smith," Captain Marvel instructed, scanning their surroundings. "He will know how to safeguard the forge from Annihilus." They moved cautiously through the landscape, navigating treacherous terrain filled with bubbling lava and explosive geysers. The oppressive heat made their skin glisten with sweat, and the air crackled with energy, causing their instincts to sharpen. After what felt like hours of trekking, they arrived at a colossal structure carved into the mountainside, its entrance adorned with intricate symbols and runes that glowed faintly. "This must be it," Irani breathed, awe mingling with apprehension. The group stepped inside, and the air shifted around them, resonating with power. They entered a vast chamber, the walls lined with gleaming forges and artifacts of immense power. At the center stood the Celestial Smith, a towering figure of elemental energy and molten metal. His eyes glowed like stars, and his voice boomed like thunder. "Who dares to enter my domain?" the Celestial Smith demanded, his form radiating an intensity that filled the chamber. "We seek your guidance," Irani replied, her voice steady. "Annihilus seeks the cosmic forge to reshape reality itself. We must protect it." The Celestial Smith regarded them, his expression inscrutable. "Power is a double-edged sword, can create, but it can also destroy. Many have sought the forge for their own desires, and they have paid a heavy price." Thor stepped forward, the determination in his eyes unwavering. "We understand the risks, but we will not let Annihilus's darkness consume the universe. We need your assistance." With a sigh that echoed through the chamber, the Celestial Smith nodded. "Very well. I will grant you the knowledge you seek. But first, you must prove yourselves worthy." As he spoke, the chamber began to shift, the walls transforming into scenes from battles fought throughout history. Heroes and villains alike clashed in epic conflicts, their struggles unfolding like a cosmic tapestry. You will face challenges that test your resolve, your unity, and your understanding of power. Only by overcoming these trials will you earn the secrets of the Cosmic Forge. Without warning, the images began to swirl, forming a portal that pulsed with energy. One by one, the heroes stepped through the portal, finding themselves in a vast arena of swirling light and shadow. Each was transported to a different realm, a representation of their innermost fears and desires. Captain Marvel found herself on a battlefield, surrounded by her past enemies. Memories flooded back, and she was forced to confront the lingering doubts that haunted her. "You're not strong enough to lead," a shadowy figure taunted. "You'll fail them all." With determination igniting within her, she fought back against the illusions, channeling her power and smashing through the darkness. "I won't let fear define me," she shouted, unleashing a surge of energy that illuminated the battlefield. As the shadows fell away, she emerged victorious, her spirit renewed. Meanwhile, Hulk was transported to a desolate wasteland, filled with echoes of anger and rage. He faced manifestations of his past, the countless battles, the pain of isolation, and the fear of losing control. The ground trembled as he roared in defiance, battling the echoes of his own insecurities. "Hulk not afraid, Hulk strong," he declared, smashing through the manifestations and reclaiming his identity. Thor found himself standing on the ruins of Asgard, the fallen kingdom he had fought so hard to protect. Ghostly figures of fallen allies emerged, their faces filled with disappointment. "You failed us, Thor," they lamented, a heavy weight pressing down on his heart. But he gripped Mjolnir tightly, his resolve hardening. "I will not abandon my duty. I will fight for Asgard and my friends." He called upon the power of the storm, channeling lightning to scatter the phantoms and reaffirming his commitment to protect all he held dear. As each hero faced their personal trials, Sam found himself in a darkened void, filled with uncertainty and doubt. Shadows whispered to him, feeding on his insecurities. "You're not a hero. You're just a child playing at bravery." But as the whispers grew louder, Sam remembered the faces of his comrades, their strength, their sacrifices. With a deep breath, he summoned the courage that had been ignited within him. "I am more than my fears. I fight for my friends, for the universe." His voice rang out, a beacon of defiance, and the shadows shrank back, defeated. With each challenge met, the heroes rejoined one another in the chamber of the Celestial Smith. They were battered but unbroken, their spirits fortified by the trials they had faced. The Celestial Smith regarded them with approval, his form shimmering with energy. "You have proven yourselves worthy," he declared. "You have faced your fears and emerged stronger. I will impart the knowledge you seek." As he spoke, a radiant light enveloped them, revealing the secrets of the cosmic forge. Images of creation and destruction, power and responsibility, filled their minds. They saw how the forge could be used not just as a tool of power, but as a means to protect and preserve the universe. With this knowledge, the Celestial Smith continued, "You will be equipped to confront Annihilus and ensure that the forge does not fall into his hands. Remember, true power lies not in domination, but in the unity of purpose." With newfound determination, the heroes absorbed the wisdom imparted to them. They emerged from the chamber, ready to face the challenges ahead. The portal shimmered, and as they stepped through, they found themselves back on the rocky terrain of Forge World. "Now, we must return to the Nova Star," Irani said, her voice resolute. "Annihilus will not rest, and we must act quickly to thwart his plans." As they made their way back, the heroes felt a renewed sense of unity and purpose. They had confronted their doubts and emerged stronger, more determined than ever to protect the universe from the darkness that threatened to engulf it. Together, they would stand against Annihilus, wielding the knowledge they had gained from the Cosmic Forge, prepared to fight for their lives and the future of all that they held dear. As the Nova Star soared through the cosmos, its crew was a tightly wound coil of determination, having emerged from their trials on Forge World with a renewed sense of purpose. The knowledge imparted by the Celestial Smith weighed heavily on them, but it was a burden they bore willingly, knowing the stakes that lay ahead. The looming specter of Annihilus and his malevolent ambition haunted their thoughts. They had to act swiftly to prevent the fabric of reality from being torn apart. Navigating through star systems, they approached the coordinates of Annihilus's stronghold, a dark, swirling maelstrom of energy known as the negative zone. This tumultuous realm was a stark contrast to the serene beauty of the universe outside. The very air crackled with dark energy, and the ship trembled as it crossed the threshold into this chaotic dimension. As they descended deeper into the negative zone, the heroes could see the ominous silhouette of Annihilus's flagship, the Annihilator, looming like a black storm cloud against the stark backdrop of swirling chaos. The ship was a monstrous construct, bristling with weaponry and swarming with soldiers and monstrous creatures loyal to Annihilus. Irani Rail stood at the helm of the Nova Star, her heart racing as she studied the readings. "We're close. Annihilus has fortified his defenses, but we can't turn back now. This is our moment." The crew gathered around, each hero steeling themselves for the confrontation ahead. The bond they had forged was palpable. They were no longer just allies, but a united force with a singular purpose. With a deep breath, Captain Marvel activated the ship's communication system. "This is Captain Marvel. We are the coalition of heroes, and we have come to reclaim the cosmic forge from your grasp. Annihilus, you will not reshape reality." The response was a thunderous roar of laughter that echoed through the comms. Annihilus's voice crackled through, laced with arrogance and malice. "Foolish heroes, you think you can challenge me in my domain? I will crush you, and the forge will be mine." Irani nodded, determination igniting within her. "Prepare for battle. Engage cloaking protocols and maneuver into position." As the Nova Star deftly navigated through the chaotic energy of the negative zone, it was suddenly ambushed by waves of Annihilus's soldiers, grotesque creatures born of darkness and fury. They emerged from hidden outposts, their forms twisted and monstrous, snarling with savage intent. "Hulk smash!" roared the Hulk as he barreled into the fray, smashing through the enemy lines with a primal fury. The ground shook beneath him, and the sheer force of his strength sent several creatures sprawling back. Captain Marvel flew ahead, a beacon of light against the dark landscape. She unleashed energy blasts, each strike illuminating the gloom and scattering the minions of Annihilus. "Let's break their ranks," she shouted, her voice resonating with resolve. Thor followed closely behind, Mjolnir crackling with lightning as he joined the fray. He summoned storms, lightning arcing down to strike the advancing forces. "By the power of the storm, I will smite you," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the chaos. The battle raged fiercely as the heroes fought back against the relentless tide of Annihilus's forces. Sam, the young Nova recruit, focused on using his training to help coordinate attacks. He remembered the lessons learned during his trials and began guiding the Nova Corps members into formation, ensuring they fought as a cohesive unit. "Form a defensive perimeter," he called out, rallying the soldiers. "We can't let them surround us." With Sam's leadership, the Nova Corps executed strategic maneuvers, creating a wall of light that pushed back against the advancing enemies. Irani, witnessing the young recruit's growth, felt a swell of pride. "You're doing great, Sam. Keep it up." As the initial wave of attackers began to waver, the heroes pressed forward, determined to breach the heart of the Annihilator. However, Annihilus was not one to be easily deterred. In a calculated move, he unleashed his most formidable weapon, a wave of energy that engulfed the battlefield, warping reality itself. The heroes felt an unnatural pull, as if the very fabric of existence was bending and twisting around them. "Brace yourselves," Irani shouted as the energy surged through the battlefield, distorting their surroundings. The chaos of battle transformed into a surreal landscape, shifting and morphing, making it difficult to distinguish friend from foe. Thor swung Mjolnir, but the hammer missed its mark, veering off course as reality twisted. "By the gods!" he exclaimed, struggling to maintain his footing. This power, it is beyond comprehension. Annihilus, relishing the chaos he had unleashed, appeared before them, his form flickering in and out of reality. Welcome to my domain. You will witness the true power of the cosmic forge as I bend the universe to my will. His laughter echoed like thunder, reverberating through the minds of the heroes. In that moment, Captain Marvel spotted the forge, an ethereal object glowing in the center of the chaos. It pulsated with energy, drawing the attention of all around it. "We need to reach the forge," she yelled, the urgency in her voice cutting through the disarray. The heroes fought their way toward the center, battling through illusions and manifestations of their fears that Annihilus conjured to weaken their resolve. Each time they faced an illusion, be it a fallen comrade, a past failure, or a personal fear, they drew strength from their shared experiences and their determination to protect one another. As they approached the forge, it became increasingly difficult to maintain focus. Sam felt the pull of the energy distorting his senses, but he clenched his fists, recalling the determination he had summoned on Forge World. "We can do this. Keep moving forward," he shouted, drawing from the camaraderie of his friends. Finally, they reached the cosmic forge, its brilliance blinding against the twisted backdrop of the negative zone. The energy surged around them, crackling with power. Annihilus, realizing their intent, surged forward, his dark form eclipsing the light. "You will not take it from me," he roared, unleashing a torrent of dark energy toward the heroes. The heroes braced themselves as the energy slammed into them, but they refused to yield. Hulk roared with fury, using his immense strength to absorb the blast and redirect it back toward Annihilus. Hulk's strongest there is. With a deafening crash, the energy collided, and in that moment, the tide of battle shifted. Captain Marvel seized the opportunity, channeling her energy into a concentrated blast aimed at the forge. Now, together, Thor raised Mjolnir, lightning surging around him as he joined his power with hers. For Asgard, for the universe, the combined might of their powers created a brilliant light that pierced through the chaos, engulfing Annihilus and the forge. The energy surged, transforming the battlefield around them. Annihilus's laughter turned to fury as he realized he was losing control. With one final push, the heroes unleashed a surge of energy that struck the cosmic forge directly. The artifact responded, glowing with blinding light, and the chaotic energy swirling around them began to stabilize. The illusions dissipated, the distortion of reality unwinding as the forge released its raw power. Annihilus was thrown back, the dark energy he had conjured dissipating into nothingness. The heroes felt the weight of the chaos lifting, their senses returning to clarity. The forge now pulsed with a steady rhythm, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. "We did it!" Sam exclaimed, his voice ringing with excitement as he felt the energy coalesce around them. The heroes rallied together, their spirits lifted, united in their victory. But Annihilus was not finished. He rose from the ground, a storm of dark energy swirling around him, his eyes glowing with malevolence. "You think you have one? This is only the beginning. I will reclaim the forge and bend all of reality to my will." With renewed determination, the heroes readied themselves for the final confrontation. They had fought through darkness and chaos, united by their purpose, and they would not allow Annihilus to take that away from them. As the battle raged on, the heroes fought with renewed vigor, their resolve unshaken. They harnessed the power of the cosmic forge, channeling its energy into their strikes, illuminating the dark realm of the negative zone with brilliant flashes of light. Together, they would stand against Annihilus, fighting not just for their own survival, but for the very fabric of reality itself. In this climactic battle, They understood that true power lay not just in strength, but in their unbreakable unity and their unwavering determination to protect the universe from the impending darkness. In the depths of the negative zone, the battle against Annihilus reached a fever pitch. The air crackled with energy as the heroes fought valiantly against the forces of darkness, their determination shining like a beacon amid the swirling chaos. Annihilus, enraged and desperate, unleashed wave after wave of his minions, each more twisted and terrifying than the last. The cosmic forge pulsed with power, its radiant light pushing back against the dark energy that threatened to consume them. The heroes had momentarily gained the upper hand, but they knew that the true battle was far from over. Annihilus was not merely a foe to be defeated. He was a force of nature, a manifestation of chaos that sought to engulf the universe in darkness. With every blast of energy, Captain Marvel soared through the air, her fists glowing as she struck down one monstrous creature after another. "We need to keep pushing him back," she shouted, her voice filled with urgency. The light from the forge illuminated her path, guiding her as she fought. Thor fought alongside her, Mjolnir crackling with lightning as he summoned storms to blast the advancing hordes. "Together, we are stronger than he could ever comprehend," he bellowed, his voice carrying over the tumult of battle. Each swing of his hammer sent bolts of lightning arcing across the battlefield, cleaving through Annihilus's forces and scattering them like leaves in a storm. Meanwhile, Hulk charged through the chaos, his fury unmatched as he barreled through enemy lines, his fists finding their mark on any creature that dared to stand against him. "Hulk smash!" he roared, his primal battle cry echoing through the chaos, igniting the courage of his allies. Sam, the young Nova recruit, found himself coordinating the Nova Corps in a tactical formation, drawing from the leadership he had witnessed in his comrades. "Form up. We need to create a protective perimeter around the forge," he called out, rallying the other soldiers. The Nova Corps responded, their glowing energy creating a wall of light to shield the forge from Annihilus's relentless assault. But as the heroes fought valiantly, Annihilus was not idle. With a furious roar, he summoned dark energy, coalescing it into a concentrated beam that shot toward the heroes. "You will all perish in the darkness," he screamed, his voice filled with rage. The heroes braced themselves, and in that moment, Irani Rail, Nova Prime, tapped into the energy of the cosmic forge. "Everyone, hold on," she shouted, channeling the forge's power to create a protective barrier. A shield of brilliant light erupted from her, enveloping the heroes just as the dark energy collided with it. The impact sent shockwaves through the battlefield, the light and dark energies clashing in a dazzling display of power. The protective barrier flickered under the assault, but Irani held firm, drawing strength from her allies. "We can't let him break through," she urged, her focus unwavering. As the battle raged on, Annihilus felt his grip on reality slipping. The energy of the cosmic forge was a force he could not control. Desperation fueled his anger, and with a defiant cry, he unleashed a torrent of darkness, manifesting the shadows of the fears and regrets of his enemies. The air filled with the swirling whispers of doubt and despair, taking form around the heroes. The shadows materialized into dark versions of their past selves, twisted and corrupted, reflecting their insecurities. They were manifestations of every failure, every loss, every moment of doubt that had haunted them. Captain Marvel faced her shadow, a twisted figure that wore her face but radiated darkness. "You're not strong enough. You're just a coward hiding behind your powers," it taunted, its voice a chilling echo of her own self-doubt. "No!" she shouted, her fists clenching. "I won't let you win." With renewed resolve, she unleashed a blast of energy, obliterating the shadow in a brilliant explosion of light. Hulk found himself confronted by a grotesque version of himself, a monstrous figure that represented his deepest fears, his rage, his isolation, and the pain of never being accepted. "You will always be alone, a monster," it hissed, slinking closer. But Hulk's heart thundered in his chest, and he roared back, "Hulk not alone. Hulk have friends." With a powerful swing, he smashed his fists together, shattering the illusion and sending shards of darkness scattering. Sam faced his own shadow, a dark reflection of doubt that whispered, "You're not a hero. You're just a kid playing with powers you don't understand." The words sank into him, and for a moment he faltered. But then he remembered the sacrifices his comrades had made and the strength he had drawn from them. "I'm not afraid," he shouted defiantly. Drawing on his training, he focused his energy and unleashed a burst of nova light, scattering the shadow into nothingness. As each hero confronted their fears, Irani continued to channel the power of the cosmic forge, fortifying the barrier that protected them. "We must stand together," she cried, her voice cutting through the darkness. "Our strength lies in our unity." The combined power of their resolve surged through them, pushing back against the dark energy that Annihilus had conjured. The shadows dissipated, and the light from the forge brightened, illuminating the battlefield with a brilliant glow. But Annihilus, seeing his forces falter, unleashed his final card, a massive surge of dark energy that swirled around him, forming a colossal vortex. "I will consume you all," he roared, the darkness writhing like a living thing. The heroes felt the pull of the vortex, an overwhelming force threatening to drag them into the abyss. "We must hold our ground," Captain Marvel shouted, her voice breaking through the cacophony. "Together, we can overcome this." As the vortex surged forward, the heroes rallied around Irani, each of them drawing on the energy of the cosmic forge. They stood together, united as one, and with a collective roar, they unleashed a wave of light that surged toward the vortex. The clash was cataclysmic. Light and darkness collided in a dazzling explosion of energy that resonated through the negative zone. The vortex writhed, the energy flickering and spiraling as the heroes fought against the pull of Annihilus's dark power. In that moment, their unity shone brightest. Irani, drawing on the wisdom imparted by the celestial smith, focused the energy of the cosmic forge into a single concentrated beam. "Now!" she cried, channeling the power through her outstretched hands. The beam shot forth, illuminating the chaos around them. It struck the heart of the vortex, piercing through the darkness with blinding brilliance. Annihilus screamed in rage and disbelief as the light enveloped him, unraveling the dark energy he had summoned. The vortex began to collapse in on itself, the darkness receding, and in its wake, the chaotic landscape of the negative zone began to stabilize. The heroes felt the pressure lift, the swirling energy around them transforming into a serene calm. As the light faded, the heroes found themselves standing amidst the remnants of the battle. The dark forces had been vanquished, and Annihilus was gone, his form consumed by the very darkness he had wielded. In the aftermath, the cosmic forge pulsed gently, its light now a steady beacon. The heroes took a moment to catch their breath, their bodies battered but their spirits unyielding. They had faced the heart of darkness and emerged victorious, forged anew by their shared struggles. With a sense of accomplishment, they gathered around the forge, knowing their fight was not just for themselves but for the future of the universe. They had learned the true power of unity and resolve, and together, they were prepared to safeguard the light against any darkness that dared to threaten it. As they began to regroup and assess their next steps, the realization settled over them. The fight was not merely against Annihilus, but against the darkness within themselves and the world around them. And with that understanding, They set their sights on the challenges that lay ahead, knowing they would face them together as heroes, as friends, and as guardians of the universe. In the wake of their hard-fought battle against Annihilus, the heroes found themselves standing amidst the remnants of the negative zone. The cosmic forge pulsed softly, its brilliant light illuminating the debris and scattered remnants of dark energy that had once threatened to engulf them. Yet, while the immediate danger had been vanquished, an unsettling tension lingered in the air, for the ultimate confrontation with Annihilus was still ahead. As they regrouped around the cosmic forge, the atmosphere buzzed with a mix of triumph and apprehension. Irani Rail, the leader of the coalition of heroes, sensed the unease among her comrades. We've dealt a significant blow to Annihilus, but we cannot let our guard down. He will not be defeated so easily. Captain Marvel nodded, her gaze fixed on the forge. He's desperate now. A cornered animal is the most dangerous. We need to prepare for whatever he has left. Thor, his Mjolnir crackling with residual energy, stepped forward. Let us be vigilant. Annihilus will come for the forge, and when he does, we must be ready to stand against him. As they strategized, the cosmic forge pulsed, sending ripples of energy through the air. Its power was both a beacon of hope and a reminder of the darkness that had sought to claim it. Sam, the young Nova recruit, felt the energy resonating with him, igniting a sense of purpose. We've fought hard to protect this forge. It's time we put an end to Annihilus's reign once and for all. Just then, the ground trembled beneath their feet, and the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. Dark clouds began to swirl above them, coalescing into a massive storm as Annihilus, the embodiment of chaos, emerged from the depths of the negative zone. His form was larger, more imposing than before, wreathed in dark energy that crackled and hissed like a serpent ready to strike. You think you can thwart me? Annihilus bellowed, his voice a booming echo that reverberated through the negative zone. I am the master of darkness. I will consume the light you hold dear and reshape this universe into my own twisted image. With that, he unleashed a torrent of dark energy, a wave of shadow that surged toward the heroes like a tidal wave, threatening to engulf them. The heroes quickly sprang into action, their instincts honed from countless battles together. Now, Irani shouted, drawing on the power of the cosmic forge. A brilliant shield of light enveloped the heroes just as the dark energy crashed against it. The impact sent shockwaves through the air, the force threatening to break their formation. Hold steady, Captain Marvel commanded, channeling her energy into the shield. The light pulsed, resonating with their collective strength. As the dark energy lashed out, the heroes pushed back, forcing the darkness to recede. Thor raised Mjolnir high, summoning lightning to strike the ground around them. By the power of Asgard, we shall not falter, he declared, his voice ringing with authority. The lightning surged forth, striking the advancing shadows and scattering them like mist. Hulk, fueled by fury, charged headlong into the fray, smashing through waves of Annihilus's minions that had emerged from the darkness. Hulk smash darkness, he roared, his fists a blur as he clobbered anything that approached. With each blow, he created a path for his allies, clearing the way toward Annihilus. As they fought, the heroes could see Annihilus summoning even greater waves of dark energy, forming twisted tendrils that reached out like grasping hands. Each tendril lashed out at the heroes, seeking to ensnare them in its grasp. We need to break through to him, Sam shouted, trying to rally his fellow heroes. If we can get to the source of his power, we might stand a chance. Irani nodded, her resolve unyielding. Let's cut through the minions and reach Annihilus together. We have to show him that we will not be intimidated by his darkness. With renewed purpose, the heroes regrouped, forming a solid line of defense. Captain Marvel led the charge, her energy flaring brightly as she flew forward, striking down one of Annihilus's monstrous minions with a powerful blast. "Follow me," she called, her voice cutting through the chaos. The heroes surged forward, their hearts synchronized with the pulse of the cosmic forge behind them, each step taken in unity. As they pressed forward, they fought through the mass of enemies, each hero demonstrating their prowess. Thor's hammer flew through the air, crackling with thunder as it struck down foes left and right. Sam expertly maneuvered through the ranks, using his Nova abilities to create a defensive barrier around his allies. Hulk's relentless charge shattered the lines of Annihilus's forces, clearing the path for his friends. "Hulk and O back down," he roared, his might a force of nature. Yet, despite their efforts, Annihilus was relentless. He roared in anger as his minions fell, his dark energy swirling around him like a tempest. "You think you can defeat me? I will show you the true meaning of despair." With a wave of his hand, he summoned a dark vortex, pulling energy from the depths of the negative zone. The storm intensified, the very fabric of reality around them warping under the pressure. Shadows twisted and morphed into nightmarish creatures that surged forward, seeking to consume the heroes. Irani, feeling the weight of the battle, closed her eyes and focused on the cosmic forge. "We must harness its power," she urged. "Together, we can amplify our strength." As they fought back against the swirling darkness, the heroes drew closer to Irani, focusing their energies into the cosmic forge. It responded to their resolve, pulsing with brilliant light that cut through the shadows like a beacon. "Now!" Irani shouted, channeling the energy into a focused beam aimed directly at Annihilus. The beam surged forth, piercing through the chaos. Annihilus saw the incoming light and roared in defiance, gathering the dark energy around him in a desperate attempt to shield himself. "You cannot defeat me," he bellowed, but the brilliance of the forge was unyielding. The beam struck Annihilus head-on, exploding in a brilliant flash of energy. The force sent shockwaves through the negative zone, creating a blinding light that engulfed everything in its wake. The darkness recoiled, and Annihilus was thrown back, his form distorted and battered by the surge. In the aftermath of the explosion, the battlefield fell eerily silent. The heroes stood together, their forms illuminated by the light of the cosmic forge. Irani felt the energy flowing through her, resonating with the strength of her comrades. But Annihilus was not defeated yet. Rising from the rubble, his form was battered but still formidable, dark energy crackling around him like a storm. "You think you can end me? I will rise again," he screamed, fury twisting his features. With a roar, he unleashed a massive wave of dark energy, determined to obliterate everything before him. The force surged toward the heroes like a tidal wave, threatening to sweep them away. In that critical moment, Irani raised her hands, drawing upon the last reserves of the cosmic forge's power. "We will not yield," she shouted, channeling the energy into a protective shield. The beam of light clashed with the oncoming darkness, a cataclysmic confrontation of light and shadow. As the energies collided, the battlefield erupted in a dazzling display of power. The heroes felt the weight of the struggle, their determination feeding into Irani's shield, amplifying its strength. "We are the guardians of the universe," Captain Marvel cried, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We fight for hope, for light, and for each other." The shield flared brighter, pushing back against the darkness. Annihilus screamed in rage as his dark energy began to dissipate, the light engulfing him. The force of their unity surged forth, shattering the dark vortex around him. "No!" Annihilus roared, but it was too late. The light of the cosmic forge enveloped him, unraveling the very essence of his darkness. The shadows that had once given him power began to fade, and in a final explosion of energy, he was consumed by the brilliance, his form dissipating into nothingness. As the light faded, the heroes stood amidst the remnants of the battlefield, the echoes of the confrontation still ringing in their ears. The darkness that had threatened to engulf them was gone, and the cosmic forge pulsed gently, a symbol of their victory. They gathered together, the weight of their triumph heavy in the air. Irani looked at each of her comrades, pride swelling in her chest. We did it. Together, we faced the heart of darkness and emerged victorious. Captain Marvel smiled, her energy dimming as she caught her breath. It wasn't easy, but we fought for each other. That's what makes us strong. Hulk, still catching his breath, nodded, his green skin glistening in the remaining light. Hulk like team. Hulk have friends. Thor raised Mjolnir high, a triumphant grin on his face. Today, we have shown that even the mightiest darkness cannot extinguish the light of unity. As they celebrated their victory, they knew that their journey was far from over. The universe was vast, and new challenges would arise. But together, they had forged an unbreakable bond, ready to face whatever lay ahead. In the aftermath of the climactic battle against Annihilus, the heroes stood amid the echoes of their hard-fought victory, their hearts still racing from the confrontation. The landscape of the negative zone had shifted, a blend of devastation and newfound hope lingering in the air. The cosmic forge pulsed softly behind them, its light a symbol of their unity and triumph over darkness. Yet, amid their celebrations, an uneasy tension rippled through the group, a silent acknowledgement that their journey was not yet complete. As they gathered to regroup, Irani Rail felt a tugging sense of foreboding. She glanced at her comrades. Captain Marvel, Thor, Hulk, Sam, and others, each one weary yet triumphant. We've won a significant battle, but we cannot afford to become complacent. Annihilus was just a part of a much larger threat, she reminded them, her voice steady. Captain Marvel nodded, her gaze lingering on the cosmic forge. We need to understand the consequences of our actions. The forge is powerful, but with that power comes responsibility. We must ensure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands again. The weight of her words hung in the air, prompting the heroes to reflect on their victories and losses. The cosmic forge had been a tool of immense power, capable of shaping realities, and they had only narrowly kept it from being corrupted by darkness. Yet, even as they contemplated their success, they felt the shadows of uncertainty creeping back into their minds. In the heart of the negative zone, echoes of Annihilus's power still lingered, remnants of chaos that would not easily dissipate. Irani turned to Sam, sensing his youthful energy. We need to gather more information about what we're truly dealing with. The longer we stay here, the greater the risk of a new threat arising. With the group in agreement, they decided to venture deeper into the remnants of Annihilus's domain, determined to uncover any lingering dangers. The landscape was a surreal blend of chaotic energy and broken terrain, a testament to the battle they had just fought. As they made their way through the ruins, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber, its entrance obscured by the remnants of twisted debris. The air inside felt charged, a mix of fear and anticipation swirling among them. Irani led the way, her senses heightened, aware that their journey might uncover more than they bargained for. Inside the chamber, they found artifacts and remnants of Annihilus's power. Each object seemed to hum with residual energy, drawing their attention. As they examined the items, a series of holographic projections flickered to life, revealing glimpses of Annihilus's dark plans. Sam leaned closer, his eyes wide with concern as the holograms depicted an even greater threat, an ancient entity known as the Devourer, a being capable of consuming entire realities, even more dangerous than Annihilus himself. If this creature awakens, it could mean the end of everything, he exclaimed, fear threading through his voice. Irani's heart sank as the implications became clear. We must act quickly. If we can locate this devourer before it gains power, we may stand a chance of stopping it. With renewed urgency, they devised a plan to seek out the ancient entity. Captain Marvel suggested they reach out to other heroes scattered across the universe for assistance. The more allies we have, the better our chances, she reasoned. As they communicated with their allies, the team realized they needed to bolster their forces. While waiting for reinforcements, they prepared themselves mentally and physically, each hero honing their abilities, readying for the impending confrontation with the Devourer. During their preparations, a familiar presence approached from the shadows, a figure cloaked in darkness, bearing the unmistakable mark of Annihilus. As the figure stepped forward, it revealed itself to be the remnants of Annihilus's essence, somehow pulled back from the brink. I am not finished, the being rasped, its voice a mix of anger and regret. I was a fool to challenge you, but my defeat does not mean I cannot help you. The Devourer is my greatest fear. I know how to stop it, but it will require great sacrifice. The heroes exchanged wary glances, unsure of Annihilus's intentions. Hulk growled, muscles tensing. Hulk don't trust you, nor should you, the dark figure admitted, its tone somber. I have caused enough pain, but if the Devourer awakens, it will consume everything, including the darkness that resides within me. I offer you knowledge, a path to redemption for both of us. Irani stepped forward, cautiously weighing the consequences of trusting a being that had once sought their destruction. What do you propose? The Cosmic Forge holds the key, Annihilus explained. Its power can seal the Devourer away, but it will require the essence of its wielder. The sacrifice must be made by someone who has wielded the forge. Silence enveloped the group as they considered the implications. A profound sense of dread filled the chamber, the weight of Annihilus's proposal pressing down on them. The possibility of sacrifice hung heavily in the air, and each hero felt the implications of such a choice. Captain Marvel finally broke the silence, her voice steady. If it means saving the universe, I would gladly sacrifice my power. We can find another way. No, Irani interjected. This isn't just about power. It's about the choices we make and who we are. We cannot let fear dictate our actions. There has to be another way. As tensions mounted, Hulk stepped forward, his expression fierce. Hulk sacrifice. Hulk strongest there is. Hulk do this. The room fell silent once more as the weight of Hulk's words hung in the air. The truth behind their choices weighed heavily on each of them. While they all respected Hulk's bravery, they also knew the enormity of the sacrifice he was proposing. Irani took a deep breath, understanding the depths of Hulk's conviction. If we are to do this, we must be united. We cannot lose anyone else. Annihilus watched, a flicker of something resembling respect crossing his dark features. You are brave, and that bravery may be what saves you all. The Devourer is stirring. You must act swiftly. As they finalized their plan, the heroes felt a mixture of fear and determination surging through them. They steeled themselves for the impending confrontation, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of the sacrifice they might need to make. With the guidance of Annihilus, they prepared to summon the Cosmic Forge's power. As they began the ritual, the chamber filled with light, illuminating their determined faces. Irani focused her energy, channeling it into the forge, drawing on the collective strength of her allies. The cosmic forge responded, its light pulsating with intensity, ready to harness the energy needed to seal away the devourer. As the energy swirled around them, a nihilist began to fade, his form breaking apart like shadows at dawn. "Remember," he said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "Redemption comes at a price. Do not forget the darkness within, for it always lingers." With that, he vanished, leaving the heroes to face their choices. The light of the cosmic forge swirled around them, and they felt the weight of what was to come pressing down on them. As the ritual progressed, the energy built to a crescendo, enveloping Hulk in radiant light. The essence of the forge connected with his very being, intertwining their fates. Hulk, a being of incredible strength, stood resolute, knowing what he had to do. In that moment of connection, visions flashed before them, visions of the past, of battles fought and sacrifices made. Each hero saw their journey reflected in the light, the sacrifices they had made for each other and for the universe. As the energy surged, Hulk felt his strength waning, but his resolve remained unshaken. "Hulk not afraid," he roared, channeling his final burst of strength into the forge. The light exploded outward, resonating with their unified purpose. The energy formed a powerful barrier around the chamber, sealing away the devourer's awakening. The darkness receded, the threat temporarily staved off by their sacrifice. But as the light faded, Hulk collapsed to his knees, the immense energy taking its toll. The others rushed to his side, concern etched across their faces. "Hulk," he murmured, his voice strained. "Hulk did it. Hulk protected friends." Tears welled in Irani's eyes as she knelt beside him. "You've done more than that. You've given us all hope. You are a hero, Hulk." As Hulk's strength faded, the heroes gathered around him, understanding the gravity of his sacrifice. Their bond had deepened, strengthened by the trials they had faced together, and the sacrifice of one would forever resonate in their hearts. In that moment, they realized that while darkness may always linger, so too would hope and redemption. Together, they had forged an unbreakable unity, one that would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. As they emerged from the chamber, the light of the cosmic forge guiding their way, they carried with them the memory of their fallen friend, a reminder that true strength lies not only in power but in the choices made for the sake of others. With renewed determination, they vowed to honor Hulk's sacrifice, standing united against whatever darkness dared to threaten their universe. The journey had changed them all, binding them together in ways they could never have anticipated, forging a new path forward into an uncertain future.